Metal Gear Solid 5, the third and final entry into the prequel trilogy of the Metal Gear Solid franchise. This game is both divisive and also very popular amongst its fans, such as myself. I spent a good portion of time playing both on the Xbox One version of Metal Gear Solid 5 as well as the PC version, which is what I recorded from and is my primary platform for playing the game. This video is a continuation of the semester-long project that I've had in my technical writing class. My goal for this video is to share and demonstrate how to play Metal Gear Solid 5 effectively using one of its missions that many beginner players often take shortcuts in easy routes that can honestly be a lot more interesting if you put the time and effort into it. The mission that we will be demonstrating and showing you how to effectively play is Mission 8, titled Occupational Forces. It is a mission which includes both a tank convoy and a truck in the middle that holds a general that you need to eliminate either by capturing or killing the target. I will let Miller take it away and debrief you on the mission.
Dismasi Laman was full of Mujahideen, the Hamid fighters. Then suddenly they disappeared overnight and the Soviets moved right in. I guess the old fort is still in good enough shape that the Soviets want to use it as is. This means that the battalion commander stationed in Sakai village, a lieutenant colonel, is moving his operations room to the fort. Word is, he's an excellent leader. With him stationed at Smasi Fort, the Soviet forces in the area will operate all the better. And according to the client's information, he'll be bringing a tank unit to the fort as well. We don't know the redeployment date or the route they'll take, but there must be some planning documentation where the colonel is. You have two objectives: eliminate the colonel and stop the tank deployment. Counting on you, boss.
If you'll take a look at our map here, this is the layout and section that the mission area takes place. The barriers block you from being able to leave the mission, and there's also an escape route at the end of the mission. As you can see here, we're highlighting the final point at which the convoy will reach. We need to take it out before it reaches this point. There's a few bases in between us and the final objective, and the two landing areas that are most effective and decent for this map are on the eastern and western front of the main base, which you will be searching to get the document that contains the route that the truck will take and at the times that it's supposed to stop, and check in with some of the other bases. The eastern base is by far the most useful in being able to get to this document. It has the safest and easiest route without having to go through another base to get to it. Now you might just be sitting here being like, why are we doing all this planning? It seems like too much effort to be able to just take out a simple convoy with a general and two tanks. Like, you could just sneak up on them, put some explosives, and deal with it quick and easy. Which, yeah, you could do that. You could rush in, be able to fight the general, dodge all the different attacks and stuff they might throw at you if they do happen to spot you. And you might be able to take them out pretty quick and easy. But how can you know for sure that's how it would actually play out? Let's be realistic here. You're more than likely gonna get blown up very easily. You'll fight and try to survive the onslaught of the missiles being launched from these tanks, but eventually they're gonna catch up to you, corner you, and then send one right your way to ruin your day. I have a few more better ideas instead of rushing at a tank. Ideas that have more nuance, more finesse to them, more elegance, And, well, let me just show you. What we have here is the loadout menu. First off, we're going to go over the primary weapons. In the primary slot for the hip, we have our assault rifles, shotguns, and such. The back one is for the rocket launchers, heavy machine guns and sniper rifles, or even a shield. These are very important pieces to your setup. Rocket launchers probably recommended for the tanks. And, pick an arm that you'd like. The blast arm here can do explosive damage, and it's helpful to swap over to be able to have a remote control rocket. But I prefer the hand of Jehuti because it can grab people from long distance. I don't actually use it in the video, but it's the one I normally have equipped. Pistol-wise, just any tranquilizer pistol. Like, I don't recommend ever using an SMG or lethal pistol whatsoever. So we'll just stick to what we got in the slot there. Support items. We got, the magazine, decoy, hand grenade, and C4 is what I have in my setup. I recommend that maybe you take sleep grenade, maybe even a stun grenade, if you look for a more aggressive approach. Capture cage is just there just for the sake of being able to capture animals for the animal collection thing. It's not necessary for this mission. In our items, we got the boxes, desert box camo, we got the night vision, and then the phantom cigar. It's only a work of fiction. It's a vape, which I do not recommend that you use in real life, because a giant metal monster will show up and attack you. For whatever reason, my recording software decided to die in the middle of me finishing up my setup, so I'll just describe you what I did. I changed the vehicle to be the faster Jeep. I changed the horse to D-Dog to help mark enemies from a distance without having to use my binoculars. And last but not least, I changed my camo from the desert print to the leopard print. Both work fine on the desert sand, it's just that the leopard print is way more stylish. Anyways, let's pick up back where I was, getting off at the helicopter in the eastern drop area. I'll try to have the gameplay speak for itself here, but here we have me landing in the eastern front like I just said. We got the car, and we're going to drive up the flank to be able to get as close as we can to the documents that show the tank's routing. I will now allow my gameplay to take precedence over my voice. This part right here is really important. What we're going to do here is drive up on the right and be able to take out this guard in this tower. That way he doesn't spot me when I go up to make my approach to the main base.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Development project has been added.
while he's down here on the ground, I'm just going to capture him with a Fulton device and then start walking my way towards the main base and to get set up for the infiltration. Yeah, I haven't played this game in a while, so I'm pretty rusty and pretty much immediately failed my first infiltration, so we're reloading from the checkpoint right at this point. Funny thing is, I failed a second time, and I'll let this just play out for you to see what not to do, because I really screwed up yet again for a second time. Now that I finally got past the guards without screwing it up, I will now make my way around the mountain towards the general's quarters, which is being guarded by 2 armored troopers. What you'll see on my approach here is me awkwardly diving over and over again. That is known as dolphin diving, which is a technique in the game which tricks the enemies into thinking that you're in the crawling position, but you're able to move at a faster rate like that of running. It is a advanced movement technique which isn't 100% necessary, but it's a nice thing to know to be able to make your way around bases. And as you saw from the infiltration failures, it doesn't work 100% of the time. It's just better at not getting spotted. Now what I'm doing here is snapping my finger to get the guard's attention to be able to check out what this sound is. He'll come out and check it out. What I will do will then grab him and then interrogate him for his friend's positions and some intel on the base, which I think in this case will point me towards the document's location, which is the building I'm right next to, so it doesn't matter. For whatever reason, after incapacitating him, I thought it was a smart idea to immediately Fulton extract him, which gets the attention of his buddy and a guard on the roof nearby. I decide to send in D-Dog to be able to distract the guy in the building, which works pretty well. Right now he goes diving in at him. He's going to grab him, that way I can get up and then hold him up for the takedown. I will also Fulton distract this guy to get the attention of the guard that already spotted me. That way he'll come into this building and I can take care of him as well. With the room finally cleared, I can make my way towards the document on the table, which will have me interacting with it and start a cutscene for the scanning action. What we're setting up for now is the action film takedown of the general. What I'm going to do is immediately rush out of the building and make my way all the way down back to the road which my car is at. There, I will set up 2 different bomb points. One on the east and one on the western side of the road. That way I can blow up the front tank and then the secondary tank once it reaches that point. The truck is then going to panic and drive down the road, which is when we will be implementing the horse. This is a clip from another approach. For whatever reason, I decided to put it in here, but the approach is the exact same. It's just with the horse instead of the dog and instead of the car. Same thing with going up on the mountain and taking out the enemies. And same thing with infiltrating the base. You just don't get the helpful marking from D-Dog. The horse is helpful in catching up with the truck in this specific situation to make it kind of like an action film escape sequence. What I'm doing here is I'm setting up the C4 traps for both the tanks. 4 apiece is enough to be able to destroy them. I'm going to set up the first one here and then go down the road a little bit to set up the other one. I am going to mark these as both the east and western points, and I'll use the in-game markers to kind of show you the different spaces and to help with my timing. You need to be at least close enough to be able to rush in if anything goes wrong, but far enough away that you don't get affected by the explosions. They aren't able to spot you by you just being there and existing. You're able to lay on the hill and be able to observe, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do right here, find a good spot, and then I'll start doing the market.
Marker placed.
Patience is a virtue in this mission. Unfortunately, you gotta wait a little bit here and there depending on where you decide to set up, and you know how fast the tanks are going. The Phantom Cigar is not recommended for you to use at this point. If you're anywhere near an enemy base and you decide to use a Phantom Cigar, high chances there's going to be patrol go by in the time skip that you're doing with the cigar, and they'll spot you, and then your plan will be ruined. Plus, the tanks can end up driving way farther down the road than you anticipate, and you can't really time it because it's just speeding up time ridiculously fast. But anyways, let's wait here and deal with these tanks. As you can see here, I set off a C4 trap with the first tank. That causes the truck with the general in it to panic. They will rush down the road once they're able to get clear past this tank and the rubble that's left behind. The second tank's gonna ease its way up here because it's gonna be cautious. Maybe there's another trap or something, which, as we know, there is. And it's gonna inch its way onto the trap for me to set off the second explosion. With the second tank now dealt with, I immediately decide to do a misinput with the horse and immediately dismount when I'm supposed to be rushing towards this truck. Thankfully, I'm able to recover pretty quickly, get back on the horse, and start rushing my way down towards that truck to be able to take out the general and his chauffeur. For whatever reason here, I repeatedly press up on the D-pad to equip the assault rifle as if I don't already have it equipped. You know, annoying. But anyways, this assault rifle is a stun, non-lethal assault rifle. It shoots like pellets or something that's, you know, heavy and enough to knock somebody out with a hit on the head. It's also able to pierce windows, which is why I equip it, and rush my way down the middle here to cut off the truck and be able to dispatch its two occupants. Making good use of the slowdown effect of reflex mode. Whenever you get spotted, it just activates this. I am able to take care of both of them before they're able to alert anybody. Unfortunately, the silencer broke, so the shots from the assault rifle itself alerted the base rate directly behind me anyways, but it's fine, and I'm able to extract with the helicopter after taking care of these two and fully extracting them. With our first successful mission complete, we now move on to the hitchhiker approach, which starts off at the same point. After scanning documents, we use that checkpoint, and then we make our way down the mountain. For whatever reason, I decided to be a good Samaritan, stop, and help the prisoner by extracting him with the Fulton device. After I'm done with that, I have plenty of time to go down to the storage facility in which we left our car from the earlier example of the correct approach. During this prison escape here, I kind of get in a rock and a hard place, stuck here. I decide to use the dummies, which are a very powerful tool. I throw it out the back window. They think somebody's infiltrated their base, which, yeah, somebody has, but not that dummy. Then I'm able to slip out the back with a prisoner. Unfortunately, my rustiness does turn its ugly head here. You can't vault over a railing while carrying somebody. And it just so happens that a guard is standing right there to see me escaping with their high-value prisoner. So, yet again, I fail, get spotted, decide to restart the checkpoint, and try this approach one more time. I think this failure is helpful in demonstrating what not to do and what mistakes to avoid when doing these, because it's all very fragile in a stealth game.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Я не хочу умирать!
After a much more successful attempt at getting this prisoner out of here, I'm able to hop out the window, climb over the railing, and start making my way down the mountain. Just like the action hero approach from earlier. Like I said and mentioned earlier, we'll be making our way down the road back to where we left our car, next to that storage facility with the tower, the guard we took out earlier. We'll leave the car in the road and proceed to hide in this storage facility until the tanks are able to pass by and get stuck by an annoying vehicle in the middle of the road. Since I know that the convoy is going to be stuck by my car, I begin to make my way towards the back end of it, which I am able to start running towards the back of the secondary tank. Little do they know, I have the Fulton recovery device that's able to take up vehicles. So, I'm able to sneak up to the back of this tank, attach it, get it out of my way, out of my mind, out of danger, out of everything, and hop into the back of the General's truck without anybody suspecting a thing. I could have set this out for probably till they made it all the way to the base. Honestly, people can't really spot you all that well in vehicles unless they're at a very high angle. I decide to use my lovely TikTok affected brain of short attention span and immediately start taking out the General and his chaperone. Unfortunately, because of the timing that I decided to do this, a patrol guard happened to be right on the other side, which is a bit of an issue. I'm able to send D-Dog to take care of him, and then take care of the General personally. With another successful mission finally completed, we now move on to man versus machine. Or as I like to call it, going headfirst against the tank. Just a bit smarter than the initial example. Here we will see me dropping in at the western drop point, which you'll get to see my lovely driving skills in the rocky hills of Afghanistan. There's a little base here that I gotta take care of first, which we'll do so in short time, and then make our way down towards where the General and his convoy start out. I sometimes question the guards in this game. You got this one-eyed maniac that's driving around in this car, wrecking into everything. Kind of a kleptomaniac with being able to take people, vehicles, weaponry, stuff like that all the time. You'd think they'd be a bit more high alert because this guy's out on the loose, But no, they decide to completely ignore me, just being a little bit down the road with my lights on the high beam setting, basically. Anyways, I'm able to eventually get my car unstuck and make my way towards the base and make short work of these 3 remaining troops in this base.
Эй, ты в порядке? Посмотри.
Guard post captured. The map has been updated.
Capturing guard posts is completely superfluous. It adds kind of fame points that are kind of for your, good guy rank. You lose them if you do aggressive approaches, killing people, letting injured people, like, die. Immoral things. But I'm a just and helpful kleptomaniac that non-lethally takes care of my targets.
Extraction arrived.
Clearing out this base allows me to have no issues going forward in finding the tank convoy, which I learned in this mission after doing all this testing and recording for this. They don't actually move or spawn till you either scan the document and it teleports them a little bit closer to the base, or you come down here and then Miller's telling you this isn't where they're stationed, and then they spawn around the hill, which, first approach, they blew me up immediately. That's why we reload and kind of set some bombs on the car. Since now I know they spawn over that hill, I decided to put the bombs on this car, C4, and, do the similar thing where I block the convoy with my vehicle, except this time, my vehicle is a deadly bomb.
The Soviets confiscate homes and occupy them as needed.
I will detonate this car once the first tank gets close enough to it and gets annoyed that's blocking the road. My plan is to hop out of the car and climb up on the side of the hill, kind of where I was driving early before I reset to this checkpoint, and that's where I'll be lobbing all my rockets from my rocket launcher into the back of the secondary tank, and then finish off the truck and the general. I know I just said that I non-lethal take out my targets, but I am a hypocrite.
Enemy presence detected. Map has been updated.
Good work.
Okay, so this next approach was a little bit of a more ridiculous one that I decided to come up with. I was planning on doing it down by the documents at the first stop,
Body has been
but for
updated.
whatever reason,
Updated.
I accidentally alerted the guards by using the sniper helper, which didn't help all that much because they had helmets and blocked all the sniper shots, but they got alerted and panicked and told every nearby base that there was a sniper and the crazy one-eyed man out on the loose in Afghanistan. You win some, you lose some. For whatever reason, it's supposed to make the tank and the convoys, start rushing down the road, try to get to their goal before I come and get them. They got stuck on a wall here. So I had to run all the way down to this base, which I showed in the last example of a successful mission. I had to walk all the way down here. This one's a bit more of fun. I call it the power of anime. The box is a very, very powerful camouflage tool, but in this game you can put stickers on top. You know, there's all kinds of different ones. For whatever reason, they react. Guards react to the bikini model one and this anime idol one. Pretty much the same. I thought the anime one would be more classroom appropriate and also funny. This one's more of a messing around approach, and you will see how powerful the box and stickers actually are with this clip here.
Boss, what happened? Boss!
I've sent the tank units route to your iDroid.
When it starts back up from the checkpoint, it spawns them unstuck, so they begin moving again. And I'm able to follow close behind and get an absolutely ridiculous checkpoint right behind the second tank to be able to pull and extract it immediately on reload. So I kind of abuse this multiple times just to mess around with this box mechanic as much as I can in this short time frame. We got the first take here. They're obviously faster than me, so I gotta figure out a way to slow them down and approach them with the box, which I'm able to do by using some of my items and the gear that I have on me. I gotta screw it up here, don't get to put the box on at first. And, well, I hop back in the back of the truck, take out his chauffeur. Whatever reason, the tank decides to fire on its 5-star general that it's supposed to be defending. And, well, it shoots a rocket at the truck, which I have to run away with the general. And I decide to restart from here because, well, this was a really, really bad approach. And, you know, another failure in the book for this ridiculous general takedown.
I've sent the tank units route to your iDroid.
With this overpowered checkpoint that I have here, like I said, immediately behind the second truck. And it's not accelerating, so I'm able to pull and extract it. And then, I'm able to put the box on and be able to approach these guys. The way I slow them down, I just fire off the assault rifle, and they think somebody's firing upon them. But I'm only shooting the ground, so they're not 100% correct. They don't really suspect that the anime girl box behind them is actually a madman. I try to shoot as much as possible, that way they can't get too far away, and I'm able to actually get in range to test out the box's capabilities and if they'll actually be able to see me. For whatever reason, tank just shoots past me, thinks I'm down the road, multiple times actually. I'm just standing here, you know, hanging out, being, you know, an anime girl in Metal Gear Solid 5. I kind of blow my cover here by moving when they're searching. They realize that the box is not all it seems. They kind of just rush off. I'm not able to do anything. I try to stop the truck. They decide to run me over. That hasn't happened already in this entire encounter at all. Anyways, I try my hardest to try to slow them down and to salvage what I can. But unfortunately, no matter what I do, I cannot. And I eventually get shot by the tank and decide to restart from my
I've sent the tank units route to your iDroid.
Approach 3 is much more successful. I'm able to rush in, get the second tank, and then immediately put the box on, and begin my similar approach as last time with using the assault rifle to freak out the guards running away. As I approach them with my clever disguise, they decide to slow down quite a bit more than last time. And my immediately first thought is to Fulton extract this thing. Surprisingly, he didn't blow up the tank, or the truck. The tank does not know that I exist whatsoever, and completely missed me Fulton extracting that. I decided to jump out of the box to give him a little peekaboo, jump out of the crate, and start running towards him, dodge an entire missile, and then Fulton extract him. Making a much, much more successful end to this anime saga. What we got now is a more aggressive approach into taking out these tanks. I decided to land at the base where they're supposed to end up at the very end. And I have to take out anti-air guns and a bunch of troops and stuff. It's pretty risky, and as expected, I die in the middle of this whole encounter and have to reload and try again. But here's me rushing into this base and then taking care of all the troops here to prepare to take out the tanks, which are all the way at the other end of the road. The thing with this base being a hot drop means that there's going to be enemies that are immediately going to be alerted, and all the other bases are going to know that I'm here. But it's a unique way to land at things. It's not really a good thing to do, ever, but you know, it can be fun at times. I just gotta be careful landing in here because the helicopter can be blown up. You can also have it get blown up if you call it in at stupid places when using your exfil map. Or just, you know, any sort of helicopter support with like the machine guns or some of the other weapons that you can get on it. For whatever reason, stealth still is an option even though I rushed in here with a helicopter because they didn't physically see me, so they don't know there's an on-the-ground threat, which doesn't really make sense, but it's just how the game works, I guess. This is barred on some of my worst gameplay in this entire video. Like, I absolutely suck here, and I blame the SMG because I don't like any of the secondaries that replace the pistol, if I'm being honest. It's not very good. And obviously I'm absolutely getting destroyed by all the different enemies shooting at me, and then I'm gonna have to die and reload my checkpoint, which drops me off at the, you know, helicopter being dropped off, which, for whatever reason, they just forget that the helicopter even happened, because when I touched the ground, that was my checkpoint. This game makes no sense sometimes. So, I'm able to take care of all the enemies in the base, and successfully clear it and capture the outpost. Now, the tanks don't have anywhere safe to go at the end of the road anymore. Which I thought would have been a neat idea to just sit here and wait, which is why I end up using the Phantom cigar here in a little bit to wait out the time for the tanks to come all the way down the road, which, as we established earlier, they don't even move unless I scan those documents or reach the point where I'm warned that this is not where the general's stationed, and they end up spawning at their starting point. Eventually I make my way back to my car, which dropped a little bit outside of the base, for me to drive it all the way down towards the other end of the road. Then I had a little bit of a thought. Well, there's a tank that just so happens to be in the first base that's after the village. Why don't I use that for a special kind of approach? And that's where the tank-on-tank combat came in. I go after this missile truck right here, stop on the mountain, jump down, and commandeer it to be able to use it on my enemies. For something so deadly, it's left with little to no guards. I can just sneak up and hop inside. And well, it's suddenly mine to use against everybody in this base right now. And they don't exactly like it. I make sure to accidentally press the button to jump out of the tank and then get spotted before jumping back into the tank to start raining fire down upon this unfortunate base. After making short work of these unfortunate troops here, I'm eventually able to drive down the road and make my normal routing that I have for the previous approaches. It's sped up a little bit to try to make it less jarring, but I'll kind of go over some of the gimmicks of this tank here as much as I can before we use it on our tank buddies at the end of this road. So what we have is an anti-air, anti-tank, volley rocket launching tank. It kind of launches things in an arc like that of the mortar system in this game. It's a bit more tricky to use because you gotta position the tank rather than being able to adjust the base like a mortar, but still, you know, it's on wheels so you can adjust it just by turning and such. It's kind of hard to aim, but it's very deadly and very useful, especially in this mission. On these three vehicles, the two tanks and the truck, I'm able to make short work of them with it if I'm able to get this thing down there without being, you know, destroyed by the enemies on the way there. Which, they have mortars, and that's it. That's all they can really do to destroy this thing. Bullets really don't do much damage to armored vehicles like tanks and such in this game. If it was a truck or a jeep, it would be worn down pretty quickly if they shot at me. Plus, it's more open-ended for me to take physical damage. I don't take any physical damage while in a tank, because, well, I'm in the capsule up at the top where the gunner controls are, which does not have any openings for damage to take place, both in the game and pretty sure real life. Except for, like, exhaust tubes to be able to breathe. This tank's pretty useful, and, of course, you can deploy with these kinds of tanks. Anything that you capture or steal, you can deploy as your own vehicles. I typically stick to just the fastest jeep in the game that you can find in Africa. But it's nice to have tanks and such if you're looking to do some of the boss battles or what have you in the game. I'm slowly making my way all the way down the road, clearing some of the bases as lightly as I can, because it's not necessary to take out these guys. They aren't a threat to me whatsoever. the mortars are the only thing that can do damage, like I said. So I just, take care of people that are just being mildly annoying, like these two guards that were unfortunately on patrol right next to me. Once I make my way past these bases, I'll have some open road to finally reach our convoy. We are now at the point of no return. This is where they're finally going to spawn, and I can set up the missiles to be able to send a volley at them coming down the road, and be able to make short work of them, with hopefully no hitches. So, you're watching me, so of course there's a hitch. I decide to rush in with a long-range tank that can't do anything on the short range, great against a tank that can do things on the short range. So, you could probably tell how this situation is going to end with this tank. It was a nice tank, but it pulled some stupid moves. This guy shot my dog, so now I kind of got a personal vendetta against him. So we will be chasing this guy all the way down the road with a rocket with his name on it. I'm going to pull some New Age Star Wars crap here and heal with the Force before I get up and pursue my target. He's not ready for what's about to come. Vehicles in this game tend to be really slow until you alert them of your presence, and then they become absolute speed demons. Even a tank in this situation. This guy's getting pretty far away. Not as far as the truck did with her action hero approach, but, he's gotten all the way down here to the rusted fuel trucks that are here, and this will probably be his final resting grounds. Now with my personal matters out of the way, and this tank up in flames, we can move on to our next section. We are now at our last and final approach to taking care of this general and his convoy. What we have here is me finish up my work after taking care of these two on the truck. I used a similar approach where I shot through the windshield with the assault rifle. I laid in the ground and was able to take care of them pretty easily. I'm going to commandeer this truck and send it all the way down to our last tank, of which the second one was blown up, I believe, in this clip. So we gotta make it equal for both of them to have them both blow up now, don't we? For whatever reason, this tank is able to get pretty far past this base here, and he decides to not take the other tank, which is a mistake on his part, because you got somebody coming after you pretty fast in a deadly truck. And well, we're able to cut through the mountain here and meet our last remaining part of this convoy. I didn't want to leave you guys stranded if you were beginners. I decided to add a little section here at the very end for exfil, which, you just take out your iDroid and you mark a helicopter landing spot that you'd like to have the helicopter arrive at. I have the lowest rank in speed helicopter because it's cheaper, so I call it in and make my way towards our final part of this video, exfil. While we wait here, I think we should do a little bit of a outro. thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. What we have here is a video that kind of went over a couple different ways to take out this general in Mission 8 occupational forces. Tanks in a general is a very unique mission structure, which is pretty much only in this mission. It's one that I look forward to anytime I'm, messing around and want to play this game, or even coming back on a different platform to do a full replay of the game. This is a mission that I always look forward to, and just kind of messing around with all the different ways that you can take care of business here. We are finally leaving Afghanistan after a pretty long video and a lot of recording and editing work that was done. Once again, thank you for watching the video, and please leave any feedback on what you thought about it.